There is a warship in the middle of London, but don't get too excited, it's not going to go weapons hot and start firing indiscriminately into the world's favourite city. It's been here for decades and anyone can go on board for £29. HMS Belfast kindly fought against both Nazism in World War II and communism in Korea, and she now sits proudly in the capital of a country which is falling for the playbooks of both of those ideologies all over again. It's great to visit, but annoyingly when I went there was a French cruise ship moored alongside, and despite my pleading with the staff and offering to pay extra to be the one who gave the order, they insisted there was no live ammunition on board, and even if there was, the French are now our allies. Who knew? As I boarded, I saw flags boldly waving. Flags are always waving all over the capital, proudly and professionally. Not cheap Chinese-made ones from Amazon sit tied to lampposts looking like they are flapping hopelessly at half-mast. On HMS Belfast, you get a lot of access to a ship that saw a lot of action. It was there on D-Day, it was there in Korea, and it escorted the Arctic convoys. Walking around really focuses the mind.
Being in the Navy would have sucked, but then flying bombers and fighters would have sucked, and marauding across Europe under constant fire on foot definitely would have sucked. Nope, it would have been code breaking or propaganda for me. I'm sure with a pen and paper I would have figured out how to do either of those.
As Londoners, we've just become used to HMS Belfast being there. She's part of the furniture. As a marketing exercise, she needs to whip up one of her turrets and let fly a salvo from the 6 inches towards Kent. The noise would really wake up the city at this end, and Kent would be greatly improved at the other. I can't go into the nerdy detail of how the ship operates, but it is fascinating and also hilarious as you stand solemnly contemplating what real heroes went through 1 minute and then you're in a cafe the next. Going on to the higher decks is quite sobering if you've got an imagination.
Being this far up would have been terrifying, getting exposed to that much enemy fire, but then the alternative would be down in the belly of the ship on the waterline, waiting to get locked into your compartment like a tomb by your comrades for the greater good when the hull is breached. Yeah, it wouldn't be for me. I'd be code breaking or propaganda, one of them.
This ship did its duty against our 2 greatest foes. Our nation's current foes are think tanks, lobby groups, bot farms, corrupt journalists and politicians, which are all funded from overseas to guarantee our reliance on fossil fuels, privatise the NHS and buy up all of our public assets, using the tactics of fear, hate and division that historians know well. The crew of this ship weren't driven by hate, they were driven to eradicate it. But then they didn't have their enemies advertising propaganda directly to them on Meta and Twitter in between the football scores and pictures of motorbikes. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. Whenever I think about the war and all flags, I get strangely patriotic. HMS Belfast is well worth a visit if you're in London. There is a gift shop and of course there's a penny crushing machine and there's even a bar. A pint is £7.25 though, which would have been about 3 weeks' wages for one of the sailors on HMS Belfast. I'm not 100% on that though. A historian will correct. Well, having said that, whenever I have a rant, there's no one left watching, so I'm talking to myself now.